Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Wan Mariam from, actually my PTJ is the School of Physics, right, in USM, but I'm now holding the role as the Director of the Industry Network Office. So today, I'm hoping to share with all of you something that's quite close to my heart. Yeah, it's about cultivating agility in education. So it's among the strategies for adaptive teaching and learning. Now, the purpose of this module is really to try and bring you out of the box, more of like getting you to move with changes, right? So that you become a really agile educator, right? So I will go straight to the learning outcome. So I hope that by the end of this webinar, you are able to become an agile educator, right? So far, so good. Can I get a thumbs up to know that you are listening? All right, okay, thank you very much. Okay. Just in case there are some lagging of internet. All right, okay, so a little bit about myself. So as I said, I'm from School of Physics. I'm currently the Director for the Industry Network Office, but I used to be the head for Applied Engineering Physics. And I would say some of my time I spent outside of USM. Right? So this is maybe something that you should also think about. A lot of our lecturers are not willing to go beyond USM because sometimes we don't like change. Sometimes we don't like change, but sometimes, most of the time actually, when you start to go out and you start to see how different other institutions are actually moving, you get some insights in becoming agile actually. Right, so I highly encourage those who are going sabbatical, those who are going for attachment, do it. This is the time. Most of you are young here, right? Okay, I assume most of you are young here. So this is the time to go, right? So I would like to invite you all to join me in giving 3 words describing agility from your own point of view, right? Okay, so if I can have any of you joining, are you able to join? There's the QR code next here. So you should be able to just scan and join and provide 3 words describing agility. It can be anything. There is no marks for this, yeah? You can freely describe what you understand from agility. Okay, I give some time. Let me know if you have any problems. Yeah, okay, one party typing, so it means it's okay. Okay, I think we are starting to get some words here. Change, to change, right? To become flexible, blend, adapt, resilience. So I think we are going towards the outcome of agility. Resilience is kind of the outcome of agility. So in order to be resilient, you have to be agile, right? That's good. That's very good. Okay. So I think we all have the same line of thoughts. It has to be dynamic. It has to be flexible. You have to be able to adapt. You see, it's such an important word that it's the majority coming out from everyone. And this is great. Okay. Quick, fast, nimble. I'm trying to think about what that means here. Tough. be tough. Right. Okay. So I think there are some participants still typing. Okay, we'll give some time so everyone can contribute. All right. Okay, that's great. All right. So it's definitely showing adaptability, right? This is good. It's also showing a lot of flexible. So I think you get the point, right? When you have to become agile, these are the key things that you must have. Right. Thank you very much. I will just quote what is in the literature, but basically it's important not just about an individual to learn, but it's how they become effective at work. If you are not willing to change, you'll never become effective. That's what it's trying to say, and that's the message out of it. So basically, what we will cover in the module, so later you will have the hands-on session, which is a 2 days course that CDE has designed. And what we will do today is to cover the basic concepts. And when you come later for the session, the face-to-face session, then we will do the actual practical of it, right? Okay, so becoming agile educators requires 3 important things. You have to be able to have learning agility, right? You have to be able to develop learning agility. And there are some factors that governs that. So if you understand that, you will definitely become a very agile educator, right? Okay, so we'll walk through each one, yeah? Right? So what is really agility? So some of you has answered this, right? And I believe it's within this concept. You have to be fast, efficient, and is really useful in achieving practical goals. Now, when we talk about agility, there's always a term that is used, and this is acceleration of acceleration. Okay, this is the starting point. What does it mean? All right, what does it mean? It means how fast the rate of change over time. If you look, how many of you here are like mathematics or physicists, right? Okay. You've heard of accelerate, decelerate. It's the same concept. So acceleration is the root word of accelerate, decelerate. If you are responding faster, accelerating. You are responding slower, you decelerate, right? So that's what acceleration means. You have to have moving, accelerating or responding faster, right? Okay, so we talked about agility. What about education agility? What's your point of view on education agility? Let's see if we are on the same page on this. Right? I pass to you to give your inputs. I like our webinar to be a two-way process between us so that we can agree on certain points together. It's not just me, but you also agree with the same point, right? Then we can move forward very well. Okay, I see some participants already typing. This is great. Flexible, okay. Innovative. Okay. Okay, adaptability is becoming key, yeah? Right? In education perspective, right? Patient. Tu dia bagi 3 tu, adaptability, resilience, change process. Dia koma je. Right? Micro credential. I'm interested who gave that point. CDE mesti suka ni. Right? Proactive. Okay, I have no idea what the YWD3. Oh, it's the passcode. Okay, silap lah tu. Paradigm change. That's very nice. Okay, so I think everyone is really participating very well today. Catalyst, right? Catalyst, mesti orang kimia ya. Right? Transformative. Flexible. Evolution. Wow. We're getting some bombastic words today ya. Suit to industry, betul-betul lah saya pengarah industri, tak payahlah macam tu. Right, okay. Transformative. Yep. Creativity. This is good. Yeah, adaptable, sustainable. It's correct. Sustainable is quite an important point actually. Sometimes we don't realize the importance of sustaining education, which is something of importance. This is why CDE is here, right? It's not just sustaining, but accelerating. All right, okay. Flexibility, innovation, okay. So I think the majority of us are going for adaptability, innovation, and flexible. So this is agile education in your point of view. And some others as well outside, I see quite a lot up to date, paradigm change, evolution, right? Upskilling. These are all also important points, and it's more or less the points that are already there in literature as well. So I will share with you on these points, and we'll go through one by one, inshallah. Right? So the key thing, this is something that I think some of you put in fast, right? So the key thing is you have to juggle between speed and flexibility, right? So learning agility is the willingness to learn from experiences and apply it to new situations. You are lecturers, each time you teach, each time you will learn other things, right? Okay, maybe I did not manage this part very well. Oh, okay, maybe this part, actually the students are very, very, very interested, right? So there are some parts within your syllabus that you start to notice which is good, which is not so good, which should be improved, which is no longer that relevant, right? Okay, but there is the issue of speed and flexibility. So sometimes if you are too fast, you are not flexible. But if you are too flexible, sometimes it's too slow. So you don't finish in time, right? So there is a trade-off that you have to work with, and it comes with experience. So you improve yourself as you go along. But the important thing is you are willing to improve. That's the most important question that you have to answer to yourself. Are you willing to improve? Or I don't care, I don't give a damn. This is up to you to decide, right? But to become agile educators, you have to care. That's the number one priority. And when you care, you will improve. This is how we move, yeah? Right? So key learning agility aspects are, one is adaptive teaching methods. What does that mean, right? It means you are able to modify teaching approaches to cater different learning styles and emerging technologies. Okay? It does not mean you have to repeat the same thing with different learning styles. For example, okay, hari ni I will go through this topic for kinesthetic learners. Tomorrow I will go through this topic again, but for visual learners. It's not like that. It's about combining it and combining with different learning styles so that in a nutshell, you cover relatively each learning style. So it's important for you to learn the learning style before you become agile. This is why we have CDE with teaching and we can call it teaching and learning agility as well. Yeah, that's very good. Right? Emotional and social intelligence. Okay? Understanding and managing emotions. So this comes with empathy for the students. But I need to put a caution statement here. It's not just being empathy, but you are being empathy with integrity. I will give you a situation. For example, a student came to you with I'm really sorry, I did not finish assignment 2 on time. And we are like 2 days, like today, like we are a few days before giving the final marks, right? So they suddenly come to us, can I still submit? But all the other students have submitted. So how can you empathy there? Are you going to give them the opportunity to submit? If you are empathy, then you would, because you consider maybe they are struggling with a few things, and at least they have the willingness to come and really try to give something for you to mark and so on. The passion for learning is still there. But how do you do it with integrity? Okay, I can receive, but I have to deduct 10 marks in order to be fair. I have to deduct 10%, let's say. 10% in order to be fair to those who submitted on time. But I will mark your script and I will give you marks. So empathy, but also with integrity. I think it's important to highlight this. Sometimes just empathy alone does not really work, because the student doesn't learn that they have to give it on time. But punishing completely, no, I cannot accept anymore, that's it, go away, it's also not a good drive. So try and find somewhere where you can give, but you apply some kind of penalty. That's the best to me. So they learn something, but at the same time, they also gain something. So this is from my point of view, right? Okay. Commitment to professional growth. So continuous self-improvement and dedication to lifelong learning. This is something that comes back to you. How much are you willing to commit to professional growth? Right? This comes back to you. And collaborative engagement. Basically, talk to others. Right? Talk to others. So learn from others. Sharing of ideas, sharing of concepts, right? So this is how we gain more, right? And we start to understand, oh, other people are also suffering from the same problem that we have, for example, right? So talk to your peers. Talk to your peers. Yeah? Okay. So now we know the factors, but how do we become agile educators? What do we need to prepare ourselves, right? First, you need to embrace innovation, right? Some people, they don't like at all any innovation in education. But it comes to some point that you need to embrace it, because if you don't want to change, then that's the point where your education experience that you are giving to your students is stagnant. Yeah, it's not going to accelerate, right? Expand teaching strategies. Today you learn something, maybe the next time you learn something else. Oh, okay, maybe this is not the way I should deliver this part. So you learn throughout the process, but the point is you are willing to become better, right? Foster curiosity, okay? And do a reflective practice, meaning that you reflect. When you get the comment from students, you reflect back, okay, this one did not go very well, or this part went quite well, you know? So it's good to reflect on what practices went well, what practices didn't. That's when you will learn, right? And engage in education dialogue. This is just talking to each other in order to really look into new ways how other people are doing it effectively, right? So learn from each other, basically. I would like to share something on this in a bit, but before that, let's go one by one, yeah? Okay, so to embrace innovation is when you view changes in curriculum, teaching methods, and technology as opportunities for growth and learning. Okay, can you comment in the chat box? How many of you have actually done changes in the BPK? How many of you have changed anything in your BPK since you've received it? Anyone? You can write in the chat box. You can write yes or no. Okay, Anissa. Hey, Anissa. Okay. Right, yeah, okay. Okay, Nurulizam, yeah, very good. Okay. You only change it on the program got Jumut. So that means you are forced to change lah. Right? Okay. So I think quite a lot of us are changing it. This is very, very, very good. I'm very happy to see this because some of us, we received the BPK. Really? No, up to 20% you can change. Up to 20% you can change. You don't have to change like the entire thing. That's like ridiculous lah kan. But change 10%. For example, there is one part, okay, assignment is 10 assignment. My God, burdening the student that much, right? So perhaps I reduce a little bit, right? And so you improve because maybe the 10 assignment, the assignment is like short questions, right? So maybe you just compile to make it longer question, but at least it's just one off given to the students, for example, right? Okay. Yeah, changes are okay as long as they don't kill our creativity as educators. Exactly. It's the changes that is needed. But if you do not change at all and you keep the BPK for the last 30 years to be the same BPK, something is wrong somewhere, right? There would be some changes logically. Okay, all right. There may be some courses that they have some parts that needs more emphasis because it's more relevant now to the industry, and there are some parts where, you know, not so relevant, you can cut shorter, for example, right? So these are the things that you have to identify, but as you teach longer, then you'll be able to see this, right? So whenever you get a chance to review your BPK, take the opportunity to look into how you can improve your course. Please take the opportunity. This is what I'm asking. Especially to the younger educators, right? Please take an opportunity to look at the BPK. When you are given time to review it, please look at where you can improve. It doesn't have to be a lot, 10% is enough, right? Okay. Right, so there are different teaching strategies that you can apply. And of course, this all depends on the class structure, and because certain courses, they have PBL, for example, problem-based learning, especially the medics and so on, right? So it's a bit different. But you can also include things like small group discussion, flipped classroom projects, right? Maybe you've tried gamification, but it didn't work so well. So try something else instead, right? Maybe inquiry-based learning, right? So look at what fits for you. You don't have to apply all. Pick one or two that is more suitable to your needs, because different people, they have different ways of doing this. So don't limit yourself, right? Never limit yourself. Expand the teaching strategies that you can work on, right? And I would like to share something. So somebody from TI, technology industry. So this professor, he wanted to create excitement to the students. So what he did is he challenged them to shake up the Malaysian Book of Records. So they created the longest banner made from sagu. Right? It was a mess, but the students were very, very happy. So who is this person? He's actually our Prof. Dato Azhar Maisa, right? So he even has his own website that you can also go through. He talks about his teaching innovations there as well. So you see, it doesn't have to be something, it can be something as exciting as creating a book record, right? Okay, so this is something that you can always think about doing with your students, right? It can be something fun, right, to explore. Okay, I just thought I would share this because I find it very interesting that he even made it to the Malaysian Book of Records. Right? Okay, so it's fostering curiosity. Okay, so we always want the student to foster curiosity. How do we do that? Right? Then we have to look at the educational trends. Okay, right? So this links back to the students' behaviors, but how do we get them interested within our class? Yeah. And reflective practice is key. So you see, at the end of this cycle, there is something called action plan. I believe all of you have teaching plan, right? So this is your action plan lah. So is the teaching plan is where you can reflect your practice. Where can I improve? What can I do in my teaching plan to make it better? This is where you explore. It's the teaching plan, right? So this is where you can actually identify key learnings and consider how you can apply it in your next class. So hopefully, by the end of this session, at least, at the very least, if you cannot adjust your PPK, let's say, at the very least, your teaching plan is showing that you are getting better and better at delivery, right? At least. So to me, that's already a very big and good way forward, right? So in order for you to reflect, you need to evaluate and analyze what you've done. What have you learned? What went well? What did not go well? Okay, so how can I change this? It's just simply as that. Yeah, right? So engage in education dialogues, talk to people and listen on how other people's have actually excel in their teaching aspects. Yeah, right? And okay, before I continue to the next, all right, if you could describe your struggle in becoming agile educators. I know perhaps you have a lot, but I'm limiting this to one word. Okay, if you could share, describe your struggle in becoming agile educators. What do you think is your main barrier to actually become agile? Okay, time. Okay, many people are putting time, huh? Difficult to change. Why is it difficult to change? What's the factor that's becoming difficult to change? If you can add another word to describe them. Consistency. So again, work burden, time lah kan. Coming back to time. Seniority. Seniority. Does that mean you are the senior or you are inferior to your senior? Not clear, that's too. KPI priority. Okay. Not given the opportunity. Create one. Inadequate mastery of updated technologies. Okay, so inadequate mastery of updated technologies is something that you must follow CDE because they do a lot of programs, but I guess it comes back to time, whether the timing is suitable or not, right? Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, CDE has recorded quite a lot of their sessions in YouTube. So if you have some kind of time outside of the time that you have to actually look into some updated technologies that is shared with CDE, you can try and have a look, browse through their YouTube. So it's quite helpful, and I mean, you can make your time accordingly that way because I mean, it's within your own time. Like you can watch it anytime. Right? Overloaded, lack mentoring. Yeah, I fully understand the lack of mentoring because I experienced that as well, but not too much, right? Language. Is it really? App integration, alternative implementation method cost, carilah yang free. Adaption, not getting recognition. Time. Okay. Inferior. Okay, so inferior to your senior, right? Okay, I get it. Being sidelined. up-to-date knowledge. So this comes back to mastery of updated technology, right? Diverse student learning styles, okay? Effective communication presentation. Yeah, this gets better with time though. But yes, this can be a big hurdle in you moving forward, right? Passion. Does that mean you don't have the passion? This is why you struggle to become agile educators? Very worried if passion is your issue, because lecturers should have the passion to teach. Computing with AI, all right, okay. Some students are expected to be spoon-fed. Yeah, I don't like this as well. And I'm not someone who would like to encourage that either, because to me, the moment you walk into higher education, you are supposed to be independent, and you are supposed to learn independently. If you are still expecting spoon feeding, then you will suffer your time in university, of course. But sometimes the reason why they prefer spoon feeding is they don't get your point, because you have to leverage between being too independent. So you cannot spoon feed everything, but you have to spoon feed something before they go and find the rest. So there has to be, you have to do it in a way that you can get them hooked, and then they go and find. So there has to be leverage on that. All right, okay. Very nice. Thank you very much. So I think this is something that is very important. Now, I want to talk about, if I can, I want to talk about lack of mentoring. I used to go to my dean, and I used to say the same thing. Kata Prof, salah saya ni kita tak ada direct mentor tau. Because for us, in some so you have the entire school, and then you have your programs, right? Some programs, not many professors in that program, and the rest, maybe there are some professors. So direct mentoring may not happen to everyone, right? Some people may get it, some people may not get it. So my dean actually answered one way. He said, Mariam, is like this. It's either you step up and be the next mentor, or you keep looking. So I took that on board, and I try to, this again, becoming agile. So I try to work myself as much as I can with not too much dependence on mentoring, but sometimes in some aspects, I always go back to the dean in order to have some part of mentoring, but it's not for the entire thing. So whatever it is, you really have to stand up your 2 feet, right? And once you do that, you'll start to understand that, okay, I can do it, right? Initially, you tak yakin. You're like, are you sure? Can I do this? But you make mistakes along the way. You learn from that mistakes. Making mistakes is normal. So always don't be afraid to make mistakes. The point is you try and do it. You do it, oh, salah rupanya, okay, this doesn't work. It went downhill, right? But you go up, you go back up, and you do a different route, right? So this is about being agile, being fast enough to implement change, but at the same time, you're flexible enough to allow you to make mistakes, right? So this is very, very, very important. Time is something that I cannot say much, because I am also still learning on time management. It's not easy. I totally understand that sometimes we are overloaded with these different KPIs that we have, but you need to prioritize. There are some things, it's not like you have to look at your practices every day kind of thing, It's reflective towards the end of the course, it's not like something that you have to look at every single day. right? The reflective part can happen towards the end, but I prefer halfway. So by mid-sem, okay, what's good, what's not good. End of sem, what's good, what's not good. So I have a leeway to improvise in the second half, right? And if I can share something, yeah, to be frank with all of you, I'm the youngest HOD that yang dilantik to 2025, 2027. So I had to become agile because otherwise I can never maneuver being the director. So sometimes it comes to the point that you have to step up, you know, you have to really move yourself forward. And if you ask me, I lack leadership experience, right? Because I'm 11 years in USM, right? And Alhamdulillah, I've reached 40 this year, but still the rest are like 50 plus, right? Being the HODs. So I had to make myself agile in order for me to deliver what I was given by the university. But did I condemn the university? Apa lantik kan? Lantiklah yang senior sikit kan or something. No, we don't really complain like that, right? But we work towards what we can to achieve the final goal. That to me is what being agile is. How do you speed up the change at the same time you are flexible to allow to make mistakes and improve further on? So that's my take on that. Just a sharing experience a little bit. So I think all of you having to identify what your struggle is, you know what your struggle is now, you can now move forward. And I believe all of you today have the power to become agile. You can become agile. It's just that maybe you've never thought of it that way, right? And I think for some of you, you are already agile educators anyway, right? So hopefully we can all move to become better educators by identifying what we can improve and move forward, right? Okay. So there are 5 learning agility factors. One is mental agility. Then we have people agility, change, results, and self-awareness. So let's go one by one, yeah? Right. So mental agility is when you are street smart rather than book smart, right? Okay, so you have to be fast, right? Curious, and you always want to explore new strategies. So again, there has to be passion, right? And you embrace complexity. So making, basically you don't, when you encounter problems and issues, you don't make it as something for you to go down and like, oh, okay, I'm not going to do this, too many issues. Work on it. Maybe there are some issues that you can overcome, some not. So that's fine. You are doing something. Let me tell you something. You don't have to go big. You do not have to go like melangit punya perubahan, you know. Small changes is enough. The most important thing is, are you willing to change? That's the part, yeah, right? Okay, so communication is key. So I understand somebody mentioned just now they had an issue of communication. This is something that you can attend courses by CDE. I think we have some communication courses. It comes with experience as well. So the more you talk in public, the more confident you can gain, right? Okay, so why expose yourself a bit more? Yeah, it could be introvert related juga, which is something that is very hard to come out from. But the way to counter that is you have to have more practice. More practice, you will get it. You'll get it, inshallah. Right? Okay. capable of bringing out the best in others. Now, this is something that not everyone is willing to do. They always think of their own KPI. Yang penting aku pass, right? Okay, but I am someone who like to bring out the best in others. I know someone has the capability of such and such. I will always include, right? Because to me, we cannot be the master of everything. If you feel that you can control everything, something is wrong with you, right? Some people, they have different strengths. What's the important part of this? How do you work together within the same strength? To me, that's the best part, right? Okay, constructive towards others, have insights from various perspectives, and often approach during crisis. So if you are someone who is agile, people will come to you to ask for guidance and help because they know that you are open-minded. Normally, people who are agile are very open-minded because they are willing to accept changes, right? So they are open-minded to all types of causes. They are someone who can listen and they can also give feedback because of what experience you go through, right? When you want to become agile, you go through different hurdles. You go through different problems, right? And you try and overcome little bit. And from that experience, people will start coming to you to ask for your guidance. So you are becoming the mentor to more people after that through your experience, right? Okay. Results agility is when you are able to deliver consistently in new or challenging situations. So again, I think consistency is one of the issues that were raised. And you don't give up. That's the most important thing, you don't give up, right? And you keep enhancing knowledge to respond to various challenges because sometimes, even when we are talking in, for example, Masyarat Majlis, there's no point for you to argue if you don't have solid data or you don't have any sort of how to say solid information to bring. Sometimes people just complain, but they don't bring any solid information to the table. That will not result into anything. So if you are going to respond with knowledge. In a Muslim perspective, we call it bil hikmah. It means you respond with hikmah, right? With knowledge. That's the best. That's the best, right? Okay. Change ability is agility is when you bravely walk on that path. You know you are subject to failure, but you are not afraid of that, right? And you change your approach and you integrate new ideas in order to overcome that hurdle, right? Okay. Now, self-awareness is when you know your strength and weakness and limitation, not just strength, yeah? And you take feedback to get better and you set goals for your next parts, right? So know your strength, know your weakness, take feedback, move forward, right? Okay, so if you ever done a SWOT analysis, this is something that most of us yang nak naik pangkat, we would do this lah, SWOT analysis, yeah? What is my strength? What is my weakness? What are my threats? And what are my opportunities? So if you do a personal SWOT analysis, then you will definitely be reflecting on, where you should focus your energy on and where you should improve, right? Okay, so if I can get you to give 3 words that reflects agile educators, right? So what can you say that reflects agile educators?
Wow, mga well sira na.
Dynamic. Joseph, I think you're on speaker. All right, okay. So dynamic, yeah, I very much agree with that, right? Dynamic, willing to learn, very nice. Open-minded, yeah. Persevere, correct, right? You have to persevere. Warrior, yeah. Okay, compassionate, risk taker, correct. But it is not just solely risk taker, it's calculated risk. Okay, it's calculated risk because you plan ahead before you enter the risk. Okay, so it's calculated risk, which is not too bad, right? Communicating growth mindset, correct? You need to have a growth mindset. I totally agree with this. Compassionate, ambitious. Ambitious, right? Positive. Yeah, even though you fail, you are still positive. It's okay. I failed this part. I can improve it better, right? Resilience. So I really hope from today, I get to, at the very least, make you more resilient, because I think the issues of current educators, the younger generations, of course, is about building resilience, right? Okay, so to build resilience, we need to be agile, we need to have an open mind, we need to be not afraid to fail, not afraid to fail. I think those who are as senior as me would agree with this. We always feel something, always feel something, but we get back up, yeah? Always learning, correct. Always learning, willing to take on challenge and risk, correct. Can suit to any task, correct. I mean, we talk about agile educators, but actually being agile overall is still the same thing, right? So, yeah, I agree with that. He's good. Right. So lifelong learner, yeah, correct. Compassion with integrity. I'm so glad I got that message across. So, yeah, don't just be empathy, but empathy with integrity. I really hope I get that message across. Thank you very much. Okay, all right. So thank you very much, everyone. I think all your inputs here are important. It shows that you've been a very good listener throughout this session, which is great. All right. Patriotic. Okay, patriotic. Okay. Compassionate. Yeah. All right. Okay. So adaptable is coming up again. Right. Okay. All right. So in summary, basically, I hope I've covered the basics of this before the 2 days course. I'm not sure if the 2 days course is for everyone. It's probably, okay, I leave this to CDAE. But I hope from today, you are able to see the different factors affecting learning agility, right? You have to have those mental awareness. You have to be someone who is willing to change, and you focus on results, and you have some self-awareness on your pros and cons, on your good side and on your weaker side, right? And you develop some kind of learning agility through innovation, teaching techniques. You spark curiosity to your students. You are reflective to your practices, and you should always have someone that you can talk to regarding your practices, right? What went well for you, what did not go so well, so on, right? So I hope what was covered today will make you become agile educators. So I believe we have a Q&A session. I may have from the chat box here. Mungkin ada chat open chat box. Maybe there are some questions in the chat box that I will try to look into. How do you quantify the success of reflective? Okay. So this is by Dr. Siti Hawa. Hi, Siti. Right. Okay. Success of reflective is when you actually see changes in the next part. So for example, right, you do a reflection, okay, this part berapa bagus lah I deliver topik ni, for example, kan. So you change, okay, maybe this topic, since it's very relevant to industry, I'm going to call my industry partner to actually deliver this specific part on this specific application. So then you've got this industry partner coming in, your students got all interested, suddenly that part was improved. That's a success from your reflective, right? Example, right? So that's one way of looking at it. I hope that answers your question. All right, okay. All right. So if there are any other questions, I'm willing to open this Q&A chat box. I'm not understanding the question of work burden. Perhaps you can explain a bit more what the question is. Right, I think I give a few minutes for anyone who would like to type any questions, and I will try to answer it. 2 minutes, yeah?
We are now open for Q&A sessions. So for anyone who wishes to ask related question directly to Dr. Wan Mariam, please unmute your speaker. Otherwise, the other alternative is that you can type in the chat box. Okay, so we have like 5 minutes more. So Dr. Wan Mariam is still free to respond to you. So we hope we can have some interactions with the participant as well. Thank you.
Hi.
Hello, Dr. Siti, please, you can continue with your question.
Okay, one thing for sure, I think I have two questions to Dr. Mariam. One is basically just curious, like, Dr. Mariam is actually a physicist, right? And all of a sudden she talks about, this learning agility. That shows that she's actually very agile as well, learning about this education, I don't know, like pedagogy or whatever, all this stuff. So I'm just curious, like how did Dr. Mariam actually learn about, all this improving the education and teaching and learning. Yeah. So because at least we have an idea where else we should go to, should we, take more research leave or study leave or whatever leave to learn more about something a little bit beyond our own technical expertise, so we can learn something like this more towards the teaching learning stuff.
That seems like one question. All right, okay. So, how can I say? I have been attached to CDE for a number of years, many years actually, ever since I joined, because when I initially joined, I felt that I knew nothing. It was like, okay, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. I went to Prof. Karim and said, Prof, can I even be a good educator? I asked that question. Prof senyum je, dia kata, Mariam, you've only been here, what, 1 year, 2 years? Give yourself time. And what I did was I joined all the CDAE programs at that time because I was afraid to move into being an educator because we don't have that, kita panggil ya, we don't go through yang macam cikgu tu. How to say, we don't have that diploma pendidikan and so on. So we are not trained to become educators, but we are trained within our expertise. So this is part of the reason, but agility is something that I picked up along the way. It's not something that I actually spent a lot of time doing, but it's something that I picked up along the way. And when CDE came and said, please, can you just share a little bit on this agility? Because not everyone gets the point of being agile and how that can be a driver to move forward. So that's partly the reason, but I've always had that agility in me since, I would say, day one. But, you know, of course, I had some hiccups. There were times when it felt like I was underground, right? But I always got back up. I think one of my colleagues is here, Dr. Nozaini, masih kat sini ke? Yeah, she was one of those early people who were there with me, seeing how I improve myself, I think, yeah, Dr. Nozaini. So she helped me as well, right? Research, tak tahu nak jalan macam mana, right? So being agile is something that I've adapted to. And today is more of sharing this experience with all of you, right? So it's something that accelerated over time. Yeah, it's something that accelerated over time. All right.
Thank you. So I get it's basically one is you keep continuously learning
Yeah.
bit by bit. From CDAE, that's the keyword.
Yeah, correct. I've been with CDE for a
With
number
from
of
other
years.
experiences as well. And my second question, a quick one. You know how like these days, you know, like World Economic Reports, the McKinsey's Future Talent Reports, they actually mention about more. If you look at the reports, a lot of soft skills, smart skills are on top of technical skills that are needed. So the reason why we have a lot of, you know, like challenges with graduates, etc., is because they are not equipped with this pretty much like soft skills, this agility in students, you know, the grit, etc. So how do you see we can actually integrate our, you know, like teaching, learning agility method to translate it so the students can pick it up as well, because the way we are doing things now is not actually helping that much on the soft skills, the future skills, you know what I mean? So what is your thoughts?
Okay. So this is where you have to really dive into your BPK. There are some parts of the BPK you tak perlu spend too much time, and you can change that with certain activities to boost the soft skills. For example, macam tadi kan, Datuk apa namanya, Datuk Dr. Azhar kan, Professor Datuk Azhar. So he created this whole, you know, the students had to create a whole banner made of sago and so on, which of course is not written in the BPK, right? But it's about being innovative within the BPK punya part. So you have to cover a certain portion, but that certain portion can be covered in certain activities. It doesn't have to be, you have to spoon feed everything. It doesn't mean that, oh, okay, I kena cerita pasal A sampai Z, semua method ni kena cerita. No, some of the methods can be fully practical. I hope you see this. Like, you don't limit yourself to be the class lecture as just a class lecture. You know, you can go beyond, but you have to cover the syllabus. It has to be part of the syllabus tu kena ada lah. It cannot just be suka hati je, you know. So you have to dive in lah. You have to dive in. All right, okay. There are many ways of doing this. Some dia panggil industry partners to share technical. It's not just sharing, oh saya ada LED ni macam ni nyala. It's not like that. It's really deep technology talking. Oh, you look at this and you akan dapat graph yang macam ni. This shows what, this goes to what. So people see, apply. Student pun dapat, oh okay, if I were to go through this course, this would be my future job like this. You see, it's very clear now. So then you have something related to, I think it relates to the second question. To what extent do an agile learner differ or similar to an agile, to what extent do an agile learner differ or similar to an agile educator? Okay, I'm trying to understand this. Learner dengan educator kan, you're trying to link between apa beza learner dengan educator itself, right? It's roughly the same thing, because to become agile learners, you need to also become agile educators. So what you bring down, your student will pick up. Macam mana nak explain? For example, if you yourself are agile in expanding your teaching practices, your student will definitely become agile when learning it. I hope you see this. So I'm not saying that you should change your BPK, bukan ini yang I kata, not change completely your BPK, work within your BPK. If you're going to change it 10%, tak boleh change banyak, nanti kena soal, right? But the important thing is you are doing something to make it better, right? And this is reflective to you. There are many things that you can do in the classroom. If you want to look at the different things that you can have, you can always go to the CDE punya YouTube sessions. There's quite a lot. And from there, you can pick up, okay, yang ni I can do, yang ni I tak faham sangat, tak payahlah, kan, you know. So, pick up yang mana yang paling sesuai dengan jiwa kita and that we can deliver better to our students. Not everything works for us. Choose. Don't use everything, it will be a bit haywire. Choose the one that works best to you. Macam itulah, that's my advice lah. Alright, I think it's 11 o'clock, yeah. Siti, maybe we end here. Sarah?
Okay, Doctor, thank you. Alright, with that, conclude our session for today. On behalf of CDE, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Associate Professor TS Dr. Wan Mariam on her recent appointment at BGIM as the Director at the Industry Network Office. Congratulations, Doctor. So I also would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Wan Mariam for the knowledge sharing session today, and I hope we can have more webinars and training session with you in future. Boleh, Doktor? Kalau kita panggil boleh Okay.
No worries, no worries.
Alright, good. So before we dismiss, kindly take a moment to scan the QR code or click on the link provided in the chat box to complete the e-survey and confirm your attendance to secure your CPD points. Today's session marks the beginning of many more interactive and engaging webinars we have lined up for the year. So do keep an eye on our training calendar for updates from time to time. Until we meet again, inshallah. So stay inspired. Thank you and have a great day.